But I find it very interesting when you look at the responsibility uh, that procurement have on that downstream delivery, in the sense that typically within a lot of organizations, procurement are measured on cost savings, which are kind of defined and recognized at the point of sourcing. But actually, when you're buying services, that's totally dependent on what happens during delivery. So I think in a lot of organizations where they don't have that maturity around buying and managing services, it's the sourcing process is kind of all that they do. And it's partly all they're capable of doing if they haven't got the right technology. But also in terms of the responsibility, maybe procurement sometimes feel, oh, it kind of ends there because what happens down the line is not my fault. If it's not delivered properly, what's that to do with procurement? I'm not really being measured on that. I feel like that's quite a big gap in some organizations because, ultimately, are you being given what you were promised in the contract? Are they delivering what they said they would deliver? There has to be a responsibility on procurement for that to a certain extent, as I see it. Would you agree?
100%. And I'll up it one. Has our business needs changed since I executed that contract,
Yeah.
right? Because you may have scaled up or down the need, and you may need to negotiate the best value at that point in time, right? There may be times when the business changed and you don't need as much, but you could have been overpaying if you didn't hold accountable that conversation to right size whatever the service is. And if you're not having those conversations and don't have the support and data to get you there, you're going to be missing out on a lot of opportunity. And it may be that you're also being proactive on the risk side of it. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're not having those conversations relative to service levels and commitments, and you don't identify proactively that your business is going to change, and maybe it's changing for the greater, and you need more services, there's going to be a come point in time when that need actually arises. And if the supplier is not prepared for that, and you don't have the runway to negotiate it, there's going to be two things that could possibly happen. You're either not going to get the quality that you need when it comes time for that scaling up, or you're going to feel like you have no other option at that time, no leverage, and then you're going to get taken advantage of from a procurement perspective, right? You're not going to have any leverage in any type of additional if you don't have the right clauses around the scaling up and you don't understand what that is, because sometimes that can't always be done in advance, right? You have less leverage at that time. So the more proactive you can be, it really mitigates the risk, both around the quality and performance of the work, but also around the cost component.